anybody's there. Comment hi. Yeah, look at that. I got my my wedding ring sized recently. Yay! My fat self wouldn't fit in my wedding rings. But that's okay. Yeah. So yeah, if you're here, comment and let me know you're here. Remember, StreamYard requires you to. Hi, Sarah. There you are. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is so great. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yeah. Was just trying to let everybody know, which I don't believe anybody's. Do you use StreamYard?
I've used StreamYard one time when I've given a workshop before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work well? Did you pull people in to the?
Yeah, I did personally, but the person who, the host of that particular group, she pulled folks in and.
Cool. Awesome. Yes, because that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so what I was just saying to everybody, anybody that's watching, is you make sure to grant StreamYard permission so we can know the name of who you are. Otherwise, you can just let us know. And I will post a send invites. Hey, Kawana. I'll send invites to the studio, which is new for me, so bear with me. And then we can pull people in. I can have up to 6 people in, and then we can rotate too. So, Kawana, I'm sending you an invite in messages. There you go. Come on in. Let's see who we got. Who's the hi? Facebook user hi. Let me find out who that is. Did you have a good day, Sarah?
Oh my gosh, I had a great day. I thought about getting a milkshake. Did not, but instead I ate a lot of chocolate instead. So,
hey, Erica. All right, let me see. Let me send you over. Let's see. 1 sec. Erica Dame, right? Let me know, chick. All right, we'll get our little studio populated with some peeps, and then we'll go from there. I had an interesting day, actually. I wish I was out considering milkshakes. It's a StreamYard, Kawana. I sent you an invite in your messages, so go check there, and you can just come on in, and we can all work together and see each other.
So why was your day interesting today, Deanna?
I had a nuclear stress test this morning, so it was very much not fun.
Oh my goodness.
Very much not fun.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. It's part of, my genetics and my lifestyle and all of that. I live with the results of that. So, all right. So there's a couple more people. You guys let me know who's here, and I'll send you invites to come into the studio. There's Erica.
Hi.
Hi. Erica, this is Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey, hello.
Hi.
Okay.
I don't know how long I can stay on, Deanna. I've got to get the girls ready, and I'm still
okay.
tonight. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No problem. So we're still trying to, I'm waiting on Kawana because she's here. Somewhere.
Is this your first time using StreamYard?
No, I do StreamYard a lot. Are you talking to me or are you talking to Erica?
Oh, I was talking to you.
Okay, yeah, I do StreamYard a lot, actually, every Friday, and but I don't usually invite like multiple people in. It's usually just the person that I'm interviewing. So
right, yeah.
So that part's new.
Yeah. Well, you know, new things always start a little, what's going on?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, there's a couple others watching. Anybody who's watching, let us know you're there, and I will send you an invite. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post on the group the invite to the studio, and if you want to pop in, pop in. All right, let's see. And then Sarah, if you want to go ahead and get started, go for it, girl.
Absolutely. I'm going to share my screen. Share that. Okay. Can you guys see where it says workshop how to generate sales on autopilot?
Add to stream. Yep.
Sweet.
Now
Okay.
we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, all you amazing BIG entrepreneurs for joining us today. I love talking about exactly this topic, how to generate sales on autopilot. I've done it for a couple different groups now, and I've gained some really positive feedback. So I hope this is a valuable one for you. And I always like to start it off by doing a little bit of active Q&A. So, you know, I have my eyes right now on the deck. So, Deanna, as people reply, just tell me what people are saying.
Absolutely, will do.
So, is this you? To get customers, you have to, quote, slide into people's DMs, and I promise I can spell. Usually there's an E at the end of there. But customers have to slide into people's DMs. Does anybody do this? Is this you?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, I do. I'm guilty.
Don't worry about it.
I don't slide. I'd like slam into their DMs.
This is so many people out there. It has been me in the past. We all either do it or have done it or are thinking about how to do this. Okay, how about this? To get customers, you have pitched 10 random people at once through Facebook because it's a numbers game, right?
Haven't done that yet.
Okay. Fun fact, this was how I got my first job out of grad school, except replaced the Facebook with LinkedIn. And, you know, instead of 10 random people, it was probably more like 20 because I was desperate and I wanted a job. So, okay, how about this one? To get customers, you have shared content on Instagram, on Facebook, but you get crickets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is, you know, this happens to everybody. This even happens to people who are quote unquote established with you know, you're always going to have the low performing content, but especially when we are trying to really get traction behind our business and take it to that next level, this especially happens. So how do we fix all of this? So what I'm going to share with you today are 3 critical solutions, which will all help you communicate your value, grow your audience, and make sales while you sleep. And I know it's like, okay, Sarah, that sounds all really way too good to be true, but stick with me here because oftentimes the best results come from the simplest action items. So I just like to keep things simple. And I know you're thinking, wait, okay, but isn't the answer to everything you just said in all of those marketing freebies I've downloaded? And the answer is no, because marketing is not the solution to any of those problems we talked about. It is not the way you generate sales on autopilot. Because this is also probably a lot of you too. You're trying a lot of marketing techniques and they're just not working. So hello, before we get started, I just want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Sarah Klein. I am the CEO of an agency called Brandcake, and I'm a 3 times entrepreneur and branding expert who has turned my last 2 businesses profitable in under 3 months. And with Brandcake, we really specialize in helping entrepreneurs get sales on autopilot through branding. So it's not marketing, but it's actually branding that helps you get those sales on autopilot. So we're going to learn all about what that means in this session. And if you want to keep learning after this session, feel free to follow me at brandcake.biz on Instagram. I post on there all the time, lessons, tips, freebies. So hopefully I'll see you on there. And our session today, we're going to talk about branding versus marketing. We're going to do a deep dive into brand strategy. We're going to talk about how you can create a brand strategy that's really going to help you get those autopilot sales. And then we're going to walk through a quick example with one of my favorites, Sophia Amoruso of Girlboss. Has anybody ever heard of Girlboss before?
Not me.
Okay, well, that is not a problem because don't worry, I have photos.
Awesome.
Okay, so branding versus marketing. And why is marketing not the solution to getting customers on autopilot? What is up with that? To tell you, I'm going to tell you a little story. Let's talk about a hypothetical Friday night. And you are like, okay, I want to go out and try to get a hot date. So I'm going to go to the salsa club. The salsa club is your marketing. In other words, your marketing is where you are seen by your audience. But your branding is how you show up at that salsa club. It's your attitude. It's your super sparkling personality, your smoking hot outfit. It's how you are perceived by your audience. And here's the thing, guys, because I see entrepreneurs making this mistake all the time. They are showing up to the salsa club with a sloppy outfit and a bad attitude. You know, they're putting effort into figuring out where they're going to be seen by their audience. They're thinking, oh, Instagram, 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 or oh, let's jump into TikTok, let's jump into Reels. But they're not actually taking into consideration how they're showing up. And that is why their marketing isn't getting them the results. It's because they're being seen, but there's nothing to keep people continuously looking and engaging. So the way we fix this is with your branding. So let's talk about where do we even start with branding. And hint, it's not with your color palette, it's not with your fonts, it is with your branding strategy. So here is how to create a branding strategy. You need to think about only 3 things: your customer, your competition, and your opportunity. So, customer. What do we need to know about our customer to create an effective branding strategy? And you may have an ideal customer persona filled with demographic information. I know, I've seen freebies like this all over the place. It's your ideal client avatar. And it might say something like, my ideal customer is women ages 25 to 32 in Dallas. Or it might say something like, women ages 25 to 32 who are entrepreneurs. Guess what, guys? That is not going to cut it for a branding strategy because that is way too broad. This is all just demographic information. And in order to create an effective branding strategy that's really going to get you sales on autopilot, you need to think about customer mindset, not demographics. So yeah, the most important thing about identifying your customer is identifying your customer mindset. And how do we do that? It is so simple, guys. Pick one problem, sisters. Yes, that is true. Now, I know some of you may be thinking you're going into a little bit of a panic because you're like, wait a second, I help people do so many more things beyond just one problem. You might be thinking, wait a second. No, I'm a life coach who helps you with your empowerment in life, with your career, with your business, with your husband, with your kids, and I'm for moms. I mean, Don't worry, I believe you that you can help with all those things. But here's the thing. If you're trying to make sales on autopilot without having to get into a call with somebody or DM people, and have to really engage in a one by one sales process, you need to keep it simple. Because when people see too many things that you can help them fix, they're going to get confused. Human brain loves to get confused. And when people get confused, they look away and keep scrolling down their Instagram feed, or they click next. So it's important to pick one problem. So think about exactly who you're trying to target as your ideal customer, and think about the one key problem you can help solve for them. Okay, so we've thought about our customer, we've identified our one single problem. Take away the ands, guys. Take away the and from anywhere you're showing up with your business online. And now let's talk about competition. You need to understand how your ideal customer perceives your competition. Look at reviews, go check out your competitors' websites, pay attention to all touch points. Touch points means anything where customers in a business can interact with each other. So it could be a social media account, could be a website, could be a customer service call, it could be a webinar, it could be even an email. So you don't need to go hacking into your competition's emails, but definitely pay attention to social media and website. And when you go look at those things, evaluate and write down, what does this competitor's business do? And how does this competitor's business make my customer feel? So we're going to see why this is so important to do this momentarily. Once you check out your competition, you're going to be able to identify an opportunity for how to communicate your value better than your competition through your branding. So how do you say you are better than everybody else? Remember that chart I showed you guys a couple slides ago? We keep going down. Competitor 1, competitor 2, competitor 3. I recommend looking at least 3 competitors, and you're going to be able to see a pattern for how those competitors are communicating what they do versus how you can communicate what you do in a different but better way, both regarding what you do and how you make customers feel. And what you outline as your opportunity, as your better than difference. You need to talk about that everywhere that your business shows up. And you need to talk about it consistently in the same way everywhere your business shows up. In your Facebook group, it's the same as on your website. It's the same as on your social media. Okay, so are y'all still with me? I know I've just laid out so much information for you all. I just want to check in before we hop into an example.
Yeah, Pam Brown is with us too. She says this is so good. Can you see the comments? You can't.
I'm in like full-on presenter mode looking at a green dot.
Yeah. Gotcha. And then Chef D. Lee is here. And I think Kawana's still here also.
Okay.
And Erica's kind of here. Maybe.
Oh,
I'm listening.
yeah.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm glad we still have some folks here. Nobody's, we still have some people who are out there in the universe listening. So,
I know. I wish they'd come in with us and have some fun in here.
that is okay.
It is perfectly fun.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, now that we've learned all that theory, let's learn about how to apply that with an example. Okay, so this is a book cover of a book that came out about 6-ish years ago called #Girlboss by a woman named Sophia Amoruso. So I know I asked this earlier in the call, but just in case we have some new folks, has anybody heard of Girlboss and Sophia Amoruso?
I definitely had not, but she looks the part.
Yeah, she picked that out very strategically in this image.
She looks like she got her shit together.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because you even sharing that feedback is a comment on her successful branding, her branding strategy.
Absolutely.
But it's not even just about her outfit, guys. We're walking it back even before that. Because about, I guess, 5-6 years ago, Sophia Amoruso was an entrepreneur who had started a business called Nasty Gal. And it was a huge online store with super trendy clothes. And somebody asked her to write a book for creative women in their 20s that talked all about Sophia's own career path into entrepreneurship. So Sophia decided to enter step one with the customer mindset of creative women in their 20s starting their careers and struggling to decide on a path. So let's step into Sophia's shoes and ask ourselves, okay, creative women in their 20s, starting careers, don't know exactly which career to take, what might their mindset be? Step two, Sophia probably went to look at the competition at the time for these creative women in their 20s. And this is the type of thing she would probably have found, offering career advice and entrepreneurial advice. So let's take a moment and pause. What types of impressions are you guys getting off of these images?
I'm gonna let somebody else answer since I'm dominating the conversation. Somebody else pipe in. What impressions are you getting from basically which image is Sarah? The one of her in all her glory, and then this one. Can you go back and was there another in there? Can you go back and show us real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, that one. And
let's start with just these two. The Harvard.
oh, okay, I see.
Advice.
Anybody? It definitely speaks the ability to give advice.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is definitely true. And anybody else who's thinking about it, just keep it in mind your thoughts about this, whether or not you think this would appeal to creative women in their 20s starting out in their careers 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Sophia Amoruso, or us, might have this interpretation of it. What does this business do? Provide complex business advice to established old male executives or outdated stale career advice, right? Like,
Yeah.
This cracks me up. Career advice for the class of 2014 with love from HubSpot. Why is HubSpot sending this love? I would never send this stale gray background to anybody I love. But anyway, continuing on. How does this business make my customer feel? Or those creative women in their 20s, how would it make those women feel? Well, I wasn't there 5 years ago, but I might take a guess. They probably feel misunderstood, invisible, not heard, illegitimate, an imposter, disempowered, lost, confused. We're talking about strategic planning and the rules of globalization. I mean, if you're a young woman in your 20s and you're just starting out in your career, those words don't mean squat to you, right? You may have only for your final in college, if that. What is the tone of voice? It's corporate, stale, educated. What images are being used? We have these kind of really ugly, flat infographics. Looks like they came off clip art. And if this business was a person, who would it be? It would be your aloof uncle, grandpa, or dad, probably. Probably some older guy giving you their unsolicited attention. It's not exactly somebody that, like a 22-year-old woman is really going to resonate with. So Sophia probably identified there is a huge opportunity that her competition has left, ready for her to go out and capture. What might her business do? What might her book do? How about share an inspiring personal story with lessons and encouragement? How about making her readers, these women, feel empowered and seen? What about a tone of voice that instead of corporate and stale is approachable and funny and honest? I even put in some quotes from the first chapter of the book. In the first page, she uses phrases like, quote, girl power manifesto. She uses phrases like, quote, the concept of success is really weird. I mean, could we imagine Harvard Business Review saying something like that? The concept of success is really weird.
Nope.
Probably not, but it's also probably something that a young woman in her 20s is just craving for somebody else to say out loud. And what imagery is being used? Instead of ugly clip art, Sophia emphasizes, hey, let's put in a picture of me. I'm young, I'm stylish, I'm professional, and I can be, I am just like you. You know, I'm a person who's achieved this. You are a person and you can achieve this. Let's talk about this story. Let's talk about my journey together. So Sophia identified that opportunity to really stand out from her competition. And with her branding strategy, Sophia built an entire empire of impact. And she does it in her sleep. I guarantee you, Sophia Amoruso was not sliding into the DMs because her message and her branding is extremely powerful. It just is like cake to her ideal customer's mindset. Here are just some examples of all the things she's been able to create off of that very first book, Girlboss, that's now become a huge brand. The second book she wrote was a workbook, an interactive journal based on the very first book she wrote. There was a Netflix series that came out about Sophia Amoruso called Girlboss. She then created a tech platform which turned into a LinkedIn for young women in their 20s and early 30s. And now she's left Girlboss. This just happened in the past couple of months. And now she's got a whole other business called Business Class, where she's helping women learn about how to start their own business in an online course. So you can see the power of Sophia's brand here was so good. She identified the opportunity for her brand so well that she was able to create something so much bigger than just one business. It was something that really tied in it just hooked into an entire audience for her. Okay. So now that we're all feeling super inspired by Sophia Amoruso, I know I'm definitely feeling, really excited. I love Sophia Amoruso. Now you know the foundations of how to craft a branding strategy. But guys, I gotta tell you, even though now we know those fundamentals, a strategy is just, it's a great start, but it's not enough. Because without professional help and mentorship, a lot can fall through the cracks, especially if this is your first time trying to think about this stuff. And this stuff is really hard. It is not like marketing. I mean, no offense to marketing. Marketing conversations all about like, how do you optimize hashtags? How many times do you post? All of that. But matching your message and your visuals, it's going to take a lot more than Canva. It really needs to click in your customer's brain. And it needs to be consistent everywhere that you are showing up online if you want to, and if you are ready to move past that slide into the DMs, get customers one by one stage. You can do it on your own, or you can try to. Use Canva like everybody else, so you're not going to really stand out. You could hire people off Fiverr to make a website, and then hire other people that's going to make it disconnected from your social media. Then hire some other people that's going to make it disconnected from your lead magnets, and just create all these different touch points that are communicating different messages out into the world that's going to confuse your ideal customers. In other words, you could keep sliding into the DMs forever, because if you're inconsistent, that's going to be the only way you can make sales. It's going to be, you're going to have to manually do it one by one by one. Or you can start getting automatic sales now with just some expert help, just a fresh expert take on how your branding is coming across. So If this is something that you feel you are ready to do, you know you have something of value, and you're like, I want to start moving beyond the selling one by one stage, please schedule a free call with me and let's get you a free branding audit. Learn what is, the number one thing, what is the most important thing your business needs with your branding to fix in order to get sales on autopilot. Let's sit down for 30 minutes and I would love to help you work through exactly what is that number one thing you can fix in your branding right now today to start helping you get sales on autopilot so that your value clicks with your customers. Okay. And if you want to do that, I would please use this link, calendly.com/brandcake/30 minutes. I would love to speak with some of you on there. And with that, thank you all so much for joining me today. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about?
So Sarah, if we schedule a call with you for that 30 minutes, what kind of information do you want from us in order to be able to review everything? Is it just a call to talk about what you're doing, or do you need to see what we got, or what?
That is a great question. I'm going to stop sharing too so y'all can see my face over here. That is an excellent question. So you don't need to give me anything in advance. Just come to the call prepared with a link to your website and a link to your social media. And in the first 5 minutes, I'll just take a look at it. I'll think out loud my thoughts. That'll be really helpful for you on the call. Is you're going to hear where I as a total stranger, where I'm going to be getting confused, where I'm going to be like, okay, does she do this? And in your head, you're like, no, oh no, that came across wrong. Like even just that first 5 minutes of hearing my first impressions as I go through your materials for the first time is going to be super valuable and helpful. And then with the rest of the call, we are going to identify what are the biggest things that are probably tripping people up. And we'll talk about it for the remaining 25 minutes. So just come prepared with your social media and website pulled up.
So do you have time after this to talk to me?
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally.
I figure I'll give it a shot first, and then I'll let everybody know how it went.
Totally.
And if anybody that watches wants, they'll get a firsthand, feedback on how it went, and they'll have, somebody that be the guinea pig. Does that work for you?
That works for me. I can't wait. And, for anybody else, I'd love to talk to you as well. Tiana can report back to you on how.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody have any questions? I wish there was a way to see who was watching, because it's hard to tell. It says a lot of times it'll say there's one person watching, but yet I know there's like 3 or 4 watching, or it's tough. If there are no questions, Sarah, the way we usually like to do this is I'll post this as a replay in the group, and then if anybody has any questions, they can post there. You and I will talk after. We can do your 30-minute thing, which would be great. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And then I can report back in the comments as well as to how that went, and we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Sounds
cool.
And I will message you a Zoom link, Jana, so you don't have to go to the Calendly link.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Or we could just stay here and I can end the broadcast. That's up to you.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's just do that. All right, guys. Everybody have a good evening. Enjoy your dinner if you're on Eastern time, or even if you're in Central or whatever. And I'll see you guys again on Friday at 10 a.m.
Cool.